Ever thought, well, Trump not going to get us into war? Well, the deal with Iran is escalating fast. I was told it's almost 50% that we will go to war. I have very good sources. At the end of the day, Iran is a sponsor of terrorism. We probably should have gone after Iran a long time ago. Lockerbie bombing. Yes, it's going to come out, and probably sooner than later, that Mueller, who led the Lockerbie investigation, kind of looked in the wrong direction. There's a classified document in the UK that's now extended to be classified another 32 years that will show it was not Libya. It was Palestinians that were funded by Iran, and it was retaliation for the downing of Flight 655. 655 was a civilian Iran airline plane filled with about the same amount of people as Pan Am 103 that our Navy accidentally shot down. Well, you see, George Bush was running for president at that time, and he gave the guy a medal. He gave the guy a medal instead of apologizing because it was a mistake. It was a mistake. But because we covered up that mistake, Iran was angry, and the leader had to show his people he was in control, and he used eye for an eye. When I say I don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon, I'm totally passionate because I know that Iran is very quick to push the button. Had Iran waited, they downed Pan Am in December, okay? Bush did not have the opportunity to take back his statements. And, you know, I believe that Bush just wanted to become president, but then and you know why I believe this? Because if you look at the Lockerbie trial, they did not. Okay, the people made their closing statements in January, right after the court deemed that W would be president, because I was told the people connected to the Bushes never would have wanted a man, you know, and their people part of this faux trial. Now, all that is something I've heard recently, so I can't say that's a fact, but I can say it's a fact that Iran ordered the bombing, because between the transition of Bush to Clinton, went to the Middle East, Bahrain and Kuwait, and I got to meet the Palestinian money launderer that laundered the money for Iran. When people say that Hamas is okay, I'm like, no. I mean, I interacted with a lot of creepy dudes when I was over in the Middle East. I will also let you know that I interacted with a lot of Lebanese. The Lebanese have aided the CIA in a lot of weird shit, especially the Christian Lebanese, because what they are the brokers between the Sunni and the Shia. And I will let you know, there's just something there. And I'll go into that in more detail because Carlos Ghosn is part of the Bekaa Valley drug trafficking people, and he's now in jail. He's the CEO of Nissan. You know, the drug trafficking that's happening and all these drugs that are coming in from Mexico, a lot of that heroin is from Afghanistan. So you tell me how Afghanistan heroin gets to Mexico and then gets brought up through our border. I want more border security. I know that John Bolton knows the truth about Lockerbie, and I know that he hasn't been able to tell it because it was classified, but it was declassified by Mike Flynn when he was DIA. Mike Flynn, I believe, was wrongfully targeted by Mueller because Mueller needs the Lockerbie truth silent, because one of the things that propelled Mueller to be who he is was his work on the Lockerbie case. His work that convicted a man in May 2001, spring 2001, and I was told by a person that worked on the 9/11 Commission that Muslims were able to recruit people to learn how to fly planes and fly into the towers using the fact the world's moral compass, America, knowingly did a sham trial against Megrahi. That said, Megrahi was a Libyan spy. He was not a person that protected people of the Western area, but he was a scapegoat. but he was not a good dude. Okay. So, that's all I can say. Scapegoat. Okay. Long story short, I mean, I'm not going to get, okay, but I just want to say something. We are a country that is going through this era of transparency. The intelligence community has told me that Lockerbie's coming out. And my connection and my interacting with people that were third layer in the cover-up has made me a target. Now, the bigger targets are the second layer. See, in a cover-up, you got the top people, the second layer, the third layer, the fourth layer. Okay, so the top layer would be like Bush and Margaret Thatcher, and then Clinton when they took over for the trial. And then the second layer are people like Buck Revel, who is the FBI number 2. He sent me a letter telling me to shut up. My uncle was the chief pilot of Pan Am, who, yeah, we'll go there. Well, he later became a consultant for the TWA. I remember, TWA, the downing of TWA 800, that happened when Clinton was running for re-election. And after they did that cover-up, Bill Clinton signed an order allowing for vendors to do more intelligence work, and that is how Blackwater and a lot of these big companies got a lot of money because of Bill Clinton being so grateful that they saved his bid for re-election against Bob Dole by covering up the TWA. Because you see, the TWA incident, I believe, was an accident too. Our Navy was practicing off the shores of New York, and I believe it was an accident. And but Bill Clinton couldn't have an accident because he dramatically cut our military funding dramatically. And accidents happen when you don't spend money on safety. And that was quashed, and training was quashed when Bill Clinton disseminated our Army and Navy and Air Force, Marines. Actually, the Air Force has always gotten a pretty good budget because, they do a lot of the creepy shit. But they're great people. I love the Air Force. The Air Force was definitely a major tool in America becoming the #1 superpower. And you know what? God bless them.